Notre Dame has beat out Michigan, Ohio State, and Alabama for a four-star pass rusher from Chicagoland. I know Irish fans like this news, so go ahead and hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content if you are new here. Without further ado, let's dive into the news. And it's Christopher Burgess from Chicago Simeon picking the Irish over those schools I just mentioned, along with many others. The On3 industry ranking sees him as the number 130 overall player and number 9 edge in America. And then you see all the individual rankings there on the screen. So a 4-star across the board, and like I said, this is a big time get for the Irish out of Chicagoland. So Tim will pop on the tape, and as always, my friend, you tell me what you see.
Yeah, a very versatile football player. I mean, that's the one thing that jumps off on his film. He's got a long, long junior film, about 9 minutes long. And the more you watch it, you start to see how he's all over the place. He's played 3 tech, he's played the strong side end, he's played a stand-up rush, he's even played some tight end for them out there running routes. He's a solid football player. He's really, really athletic, great low base in his stance. I love how he's always shooting his hands, always playing with his hands. Obviously, with him, the first thing that pops out is boom, get him in the weight room, get him bigger, stronger, and that's just going to be natural with so many of these guys that they've recruited. Really, really reminds me a lot of Boubacar Traore. You know, when he committed, same type of things on film. A lot of really good athleticism, plays with his hands. Then it's like, okay, go eat, go eat, go eat. Keep gaining weight, keep gaining size, and that's what I see with with Burgess. He is very long, and it's going back to, like I said, he's always shooting his hands, playing with leverage. He's got a good little motor to the ball. So it's a good get because it just keeps packing on some of the other DNs that they've signed the last couple of years. And another point real quick with the ends that they've signed is they're long. You got a really long football player that I think is definitely going to grow and be a strong side DN down the road for the Irish.
Yeah, and you got to be happy with the recruiting win, Tim, going in Chicago and signing a player like this.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's a big one. He's a national prospect out of Chicago. You know, it's right down the road from Notre Dame, and Notre Dame, as we like to say, boom, you got to go get those guys out of Chicago. And they signed, and they've gotten a few this year, in this class out of Illinois. So that's a good thing to be right down the road, and especially the schools that are on him. When you got Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama recruiting the heck out of him. Those were his final ones up there at Notre Dame. So it's a good one. He's definitely a guy I see he's coming in. Redshirt him. I always like to say that with these long DNs because they got to gain strength. And he's definitely a really solid football player. I could see him down the road. Look at the power right there of being a strong side DN. I see him being one of those wide side rush guys.
I think Tim and I use the term signed with Chris Burgess. I don't know why. It's early as we're recording this.
It's habit on commitments.
Yeah, it's a long way to go until National
Yes.
Signing Day. December of 2024 is when Chris Burgess can sign, and I surely anticipate that other programs, as they see senior film and even well before that, I'm sure they're going to be like, yeah, we're not just going to let Notre Dame have him. We're going to continue to recruit him. So we'll see how this goes. Interestingly enough, Tim, loaded defensive line class already for the Irish committed. You have CJ May, the pass rusher from Alabama, a Viper, maybe could be a strong side end. You got Joseph Reeves, who I think is going to end up being like a 3-tech for Notre Dame. You got Davion Dixon, who is your beefy interior nose tackle kind of guy, a 300-pounder. And then Dom Hulak is listed as a linebacker, but he's expected to kind of play that Maris Leofau position as a guy who can, get after the passer, can play linebacker, kind of do all those different things. I'm just thinking, is that the group, or am I forgetting someone? I'm just going to scroll through the commit list real quick. It is a really solid group already for the Irish. But it looks like that's it. So, Tim, thoughts on this D-line class now that the Irish have added Burgess as a really good group?
Yeah, go get another one. Go get Shanklin down the road, who I love on film. You got another big guy to line. I mean, just keep. Hey, I'm a D-line. Just pack them. when you're watching these, college football playoffs, it's D-line heavy, all these guys rotating, big dudes all over the place. No, it's a heck of a early group. They want to keep going on top of what they've been doing the last few years. It's just stockpiling talent, getting a solid two deep so they could go compete in these playoffs, go win these games, and push towards the championship. Uh, it's a heck of a group. All these guys are going to fit in somewhere within the structure of this defense. They got a future three tech, a nose guard, a couple of ends, a viper, and obviously, with Hulak, who could play multiple spots where he's at. He may even grow into a down guy, kind of like a Josh Burnham has now developed full time for Notre Dame. So it's a solid group. It's a versatile group, and that's one thing. There's not, really the only guy that has a true position is Dixon, who's going to come in and just be a nose. Everyone else, we can move around and see where they need. And one thing we've seen since Freeman took over the defense from Clark Lee had a solid structure. Freeman did more hybrid type of things, and now Al Golden's got. I mean, he'll only play one down guy, as he did a few times this year. Two down guys, stand up dudes all over the place when they go, into their dime packages and whatnot, and then they'll play a hard, solid four-man front on base. So got a lot of versatile football players that Notre Dame is, getting to commit to them in this 25 class.
Tim, around this time last year, just really in the entire off season leading up to the 2023 season, the Notre Dame coach who got the most flack in the media and among the fan base and whatnot is Al Washington. I don't hear that anymore, Tim. Al Washington, it's gone silent on that guy. Kudos to Al Washington, leading the Irish to this recruiting win, signing a really strong D-line class in the 2024 cycle, getting off to an outstanding start, really, in the 2025 class. Al Washington really has done a tremendous job as Notre Dame's defense line coach. And then you look, the recruiting results and then what we saw on the field, Tim, in 2023, and then getting Riley Mills and Howard Cross back to play for him for another year. Just a little tip of the cap to Al Washington,
Oh, yes.
because he didn't get many of those last year.
No, that's a great point. And you got Howard Cross, who was a consensus second-team All-American on every All-American team. You got Baptiste came from Ohio State, who was a career backup. And the way he played with Notre Dame this year, getting his first shot, going to one of the senior all-star games, and he definitely looks like a guy that has blossomed into a NFL draft pick, whether that's anywhere from the third to fifth round, that mid-range type of athleticism that he showed, the physicality that he played this year with Notre Dame. So Coach Washington did a great thing. But I always go back to some of those articles that you've written of really the recruiting staff. How one thing Freeman has really done is find these young guys and start recruiting them for 18 months. Start finding these young sophomores out there in the country that can play at Notre Dame's level. And that's just going back to the entire recruiting establishment at Notre Dame, the offices back there that are working 24/7, it feels like, finding these guys all over the place that can come, meet Notre Dame's criteria. And I think that's another thing. We always want the 5 stars, these superstars and things of that nature. But those are also the guys all hitting the portal, too. If you see the portal's loaded with nothing but top 100 guys from the last 2 years. So Notre Dame not worried about that. They're going guys that fit their culture and the coaching philosophy that Marcus Freeman has. And it's been a nice, couple classes that Al Washington's put together on the defensive line.
Yeah, and then in terms of his visits, he took the most visits to Notre Dame, according to his On3 Visit Center, 6 times in total. You look at all of those trips. Like Notre Dame hit, the spring visits. Remember that March 25th was a big one for the Irish. The spring game on the 22nd. Got him back in June, July for the barbecue. Got him for the Ohio State game. So Notre Dame they target specific weekends. Like, we want to get you here for, the January junior day, if you can. Get you back for spring practice. Get you for the spring game. Get you in the summer once or twice. Maybe you hang out with us at a camp and perform a little bit. Come back for the cookout. Make a visit or two. That's kind of the structure for getting you on campus to see everything that Notre Dame has to offer. See all the different seasons. get the experiences at all the different times of the year, go to a hockey game, all those kind of different things. So kudos to Notre Dame for landing a really big commitment here in Chris Burgess. So that's going to wrap up this video. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on it. Subscribe to our channel if you are new here. And of course, go to blueandgold.com for much more content on Chris Burgess's commitment to the Fighting Irish. Appreciate you all. And as always, we will catch you next time.